I am here with Patri, who is a web and brand designer, a digital nomad. We are going to talk about how to adapt to a new country. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So, what is Patricia's blueprint to adapt to a new place?
Well, it's very simple. It's just one step, and it consists on meeting people. In the beginning, is like when you first choose to leave your country, leave your house, leave your stuff, because you are gonna have to leave a lot behind, and just maybe travel with a backpack or just a suitcase. It's scary, and especially it is. You try to research usually as much as you can about the country or the city that you chose. And some people usually do a small trip before just to ease the fear and make it easier. I've never done that. I usually just go blind and whatever happens, happens. I think just going on a little trip will just give me more anxiety. So I just take the jump, go for it. But I think the main difference after doing research or not doing research is just people, the people you surround yourself with. And that means you have to be ready to spend a lot of energy to go to events, preferably things that you're interested in, so you find like minded people and meet as many people as you can. Go to, I don't know, a tennis lesson or a ceramic lesson or a salsa lesson or go to a networking event and just talk to people. Trust me, they are happy that you're there. Some people just stay in the corner and they don't talk to anyone. And I get it. I'm an introvert. I really don't enjoy putting myself in the middle of the action, but I also know that I need to in order to get to where I want to go. So definitely, people is to me, is the main step and the only step to adapt to a new place.
Where do you go out and where do you meet new people?
So first, I freak out. That's step number one. I get super nervous about meeting new people, about making a fool of myself. Um, and I get very anxious when I have to go somewhere that I'm going
I don't believe
alone.
that.
I
I
swear
really
to
don't
God.
believe that.
I swear to God.
You are
I,
so
I,
natural. You are just a natural.
no, I'm not. I just fake it until I make it because then I'm freaking out, right? I'm at my place and I know I have to go to this, I don't know, networking event. What do I do to accept the worst of possibilities? I just imagine myself making a fool of myself and making peace with it. So what happens if I go, if I go into a networking event and I fall on my face? I will laugh about it and just pretend everything's fine and that's okay and I will have something to talk about. And I'll just try to make peace with myself with that scary situation. And then when I go, I'm still nervous, but I'm not that nervous because I know I'm I I'm prepared. And you always have like, what if people sometimes when you're not a native English speaker and you go to a networking event in English, you're like, or in another language that you're learning, you're like, what if people don't understand me, what I'm saying, and my accent, and that gives you a lot of nerves.
Yeah,
But then you
that's for
think,
sure.
okay, that's not my native language. I'm sure when they were learning another language, they were making mistakes too. They will understand. And if they don't understand, they are not my people. That's it. And so you're still gonna feel those nerves, but you're gonna feel prepared to deal with the consequences of what might happen or might not happen. So that's the first step, and the second step: freak out, deal with the worst case scenario, and then you try to find activities that you enjoy. I really enjoy salsa dancing, so I try to go to salsa lessons at least once a week, and usually I meet locals that are trying to learn salsa. So I get to share that I'm from the Caribbean, but I do not have the salsa dancing gene in my body. So that's why I have to take lessons and they relate to that. I try to go to anything that looks interesting, museums, or just even post on my social media about things that are happening around me because you think that no one's watching, but there's a lot of people watching. And it's funny because I've met people in real life like that. I On my Instagram, when I first got to Valencia last year, I just got here during Fallas, which is this big cultural party that takes place during like 20 days. It's a crazy thing. And they burn down these huge statues and stuff. And I didn't know that was happening. So I was very surprised. I arrived in the same week that that was happening. And so I posted on my Instagram some videos of how shocked I am of this whole party and this whole situation. And someone that actually used to live in Poland that was living here in Valencia, she was kind of new to Valencia. And she knew that I was living in Poland and I had just moved to Spain. She saw my story. She was like, "Oh, I saw that place yesterday. We should just grab coffee, meet up, hang out, and now we're friends." So you just have to talk about what you're doing. No one is going to know what you're
And
doing
take action,
unless
maybe also.
and take action. Yeah, it takes a lot of energy, I must say. When I first moved to Argentina, I did not have the energy to go out, and I didn't have the money either because some activities can be expensive. When I was living in Argentina, I was very broke when I just got there. So I couldn't even afford buying one beer a week. So, and I didn't have the energy to go put myself out there and talk to new people because to me it's exhausting. It's fun, but it's also exhausting. So I didn't do that for like 6 months. And I was just alone. I didn't know anyone. And it got so depressing very fast until I realized I really need to
Have a beer. Sorry.
have a beer. Yes, absolutely. I needed like a few of them. And also make an effort to put
Yeah.
that energy out there. And nowadays, there's activities for anything that you want to do.
Maybe
There's
not
free
in every country and maybe not in every city.
things that
I
you
know
can do for
cities where
fun.
it is not like that. So we have to choose carefully.
Well, but that's the thing. If it's not there, you create one.
This is what I wanted to say. That I know you get together, no, with other
Yeah.
women and you started creating your own events.
Yeah, when I got to Valencia, I was working alone from home and I was just hanging out with one person basically every day. And at some point, I was like, I cannot, I need to get out of this situation. I need to follow my own blueprint and I need to meet people, as exhausting as it might be. Basically, what I do is I save a meeting room at a co working space for random women to join me every week, every Friday from 10 to 2. Anyone that wants to come is more than welcome to join. So I've met actually great friends in that space. And every week there's someone new, so you get to meet new people and you get to work. So you have that event in common and you just hang out. I mean, if what you like is just to, I don't know, go to the park and do a picnic, then go to a local Facebook group. I'm sure, the tiniest town in the world has a Facebook group. If you don't know the language, you go to Google Translate and type in your language and ask it to translate it to the local language, paste it in there, and you're like, hey, I want to meet this Sunday locals that speak English because I don't speak your language. I'm so sorry. I'm trying. And let's just share, I don't know, juice in the park. Do you want to join me? I'm sure at least two people will join you. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
You just need to
Patience
find
and taking the action and not just waiting that it will just drop from the sky. But
you're an adult is not as easy as making friends when you're a kid. So you need to put a little bit of effort and you need to also know yourself. Because if you don't know what you enjoy and what you like, then you're probably not going to enjoy whatever meetup event is happening out there.
yeah.
So just what it is that you like to do, that you, I don't know, you like to knit. I'm sure there's a knitting group close to you, or maybe there's someone that wants to learn, you can teach them something. And or someone that wants to learn your language and can do a language exchange over coffee. Or maybe you can just do a coffee tour in your city and be like, I just want to try every single coffee shop there is. Who wants to join me? And I'm sure everyone loves coffee except for me. So I'm sure you'll find someone that likes coffee as much as you do and that's willing to go with you to one coffee shop a week and grab a cup of coffee and you can just talk and see what happens. That's how people connect. It's not only in their office.
What are the countries you lived in?
I lived in Venezuela, of course, where I'm from. Then I moved to Colombia because it was the cheapest place that I can run to. Then from there, I went to Argentina and lived there for 3 years. Then I moved to Poland for 3 years. And now in Valencia for a little bit over than 1 year.
So you, as a nomad, living in Latin America in different countries
Yeah,
and in Europe, when you compare these two continents, what differences would you stress out?
it's a very good question. Honestly, I don't think there's that much of a big
Really?
difference.
So the openness of Polish people, you would consider it to be the same as an
I was
Argentinian.
so surprised. It's just they have different culture, of course. Argentinians are a little bit more open to go deep diving into deep conversations right away. And in Poland, maybe not so much, but in Poland, they are so used to traveling and living everywhere or just going on vacation to every single country that they can that they're open to talk about those adventures. So you always have something in common. My mom always says, I think that's why I was scared, but I was not that paralyzed to move away because she always says that every city is the same. It has streets, it has a square, it has a church, it has a school, it has a bar, and it has people. Like people is the same everywhere. We just have different languages and we have different ways of approaching things, different rituals, different customs. But they know you're a foreigner, and you don't know that maybe, for example, in Argentina, going to party, you need to arrive 3 hours late. In Poland, and if you go like 2 hours and a half before, like late, you're too early. You need to wait. In Poland, you need to be on time. Like 10 minutes late is way too late.
Oh.
But they know you're a foreigner. So while you get used to those small changes, they're not going to judge you,
Did you
you
adapt
know,
to the
to
Polish
where.
punctuality?
Yeah, I'm actually very punctual. I hate being late. And that Latin American thing just drives me crazy. I mean, I'm used to it because I don't like to be too early. And it's awkward to be like one time my friend asked me to go out dancing with her and her friends in Argentina. And she said, we'll meet at 11 p.m., which is quite late. And I was like, okay, 11 p.m. I'm going to arrive like 11:45 because 11 is too on point. And when I arrived to her place, she was sleeping. She was taking a nap. And so I woke her up and I'm like, dude, what's happening? And she was like, well, when I said 11, I meant 1. And I was like, okay, you should have said that maybe because I cannot read your mind. But after that, I knew what was happening and I could plan accordingly. But it's tricky. It's tricky to know those.
I used to go to a language school, and our teacher told us that if someone organizes a party or a dinner and they say it starts at 8, it's rude to come on time. So you have to come after 9, and I don't understand it. So if you want me to come after 9, why don't you say after 9? Like, how should I
I
know
know.
what you
I
think and
know.
what?
They're
So
playing these
for
mind
me,
games.
yes, like, why are you not like straightforward?
I know. Well, I always say that I have like a master's degree in reading subtitles because in Latin America, you say one thing, but you actually mean another one. So you have to learn how to read those subtitles. But I got tired of it because every country has their own subtitles and their own little things. So what I do is I just ask, okay, you said 11. Do you really mean 11? Because I will arrive at 11. Or what's
I do the
the,
same. So you
yeah,
said we should meet at 6. Should I come on time? Will you be there? They say yes. Most of the people
yeah.
say yes. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm just
Well,
lucky.
if it's business related, usually it's on
But also
time. If it's
friends. My friends come on time, but they are not Spanish.
Spanish
That's
friends,
also true. That's also true. I have only one Spanish friend, and she's from Madrid originally,
yeah.
and she's always on time. Maybe she's an exception.
She
It
might
can
be an
be.
exception, but it's really confusing. You just have to make peace with the fact that you don't know how they deal with things in that place. Like birthdays are also a big thing. The other day, my friend had a birthday. We all go out to dinner, and when it comes time to pay, she picks up the check and we're freaking out. We're like, no, we are paying for you because it's your birthday. We are sort of honoring you.
In my country, you pay when you have your birthday.
That makes no sense to me. That's crazy. I mean, unless you are inviting people to like a very fancy restaurant where you don't know if they have the money to pay for their
Yeah, to
dinner.
afford it. Yeah.
If you're going to grab tapas at a tapas bar and maybe grab a bottle of wine, everyone pays for their own
You
or
are right. It
the
doesn't make sense.
I mean, like that's. I need a manual of those, like with a table. Like in Latin America, it's like this. In Europe, it's like this. In this country, it's like this. So you can have the equivalent of the same situation and what to expect
What
with
about
dating.
weddings? In my country, for example, I have a wedding.
Yeah,
I have to pay for everyone everything.
yeah.
Here in Spain, to my surprise, like the guests pay for their dinner.
Really?
You don't know this?
No.
When you are invited to a wedding, you pay your part, girl, and you also bring a present
What?
of the
That's
consumption.
wild. No, that's insane. In Venezuela, you have to feed everyone for like weeks.
But birthday, once I was invited to a wedding and she was like, but yeah, you have to pay 150 euros for the dinner and probably 150 euros as a gift.
That's insane. In Venezuela, people, when they plan a wedding, they spend usually like a year to buy as much alcohol they can and to save as much money as possible for food because you
Yeah.
have to make your guests leave super drunk from there and super well fed so they don't want to eat in
Yeah.
like 3 days. That's
Like in
wild.
Slovakia, people take loans for weddings. Even worse.
That's crazy. But when dating, it's also I mean, I'm so confused half the time because each nationality has their own dating sort of, I don't know, structure, like with paying for the first date. In Spain, I've heard girls are super offended about a guy trying to pay for coffee for a first date. And then my friend from Ukraine, she's like, well, if he's not going to pay for coffee, then what good is he for? I don't know. This is it's very confusing. But you just ask, and people will
It's
understand that
about
you don't know.
communication, especially when you are from different cultures, can't know
Yeah,
without asking.
exactly.
It can be an uncomfortable conversation
Yeah.
or a discussion.
But I think if you approach it like, hey, I'm not from around here, so I know each country has their own thing. Even sometimes each city has their own kind of way of doing things. Can you tell me just straightforward what do you expect of me, and we'll make it work. And then that's it.
Thank you very much. And if you liked this conversation, please subscribe to support us.